What's up YouTube? This is Shabazz and I'm back with another CBD hemp flower review. What's up YouTube? My name is Shabazz. I make educational, entertaining, and informative content about CBD, hemp flower, alternative cannabinoids, cannabis, and cannabis accessories. If that sounds right for you, make sure you go hit that subscribe button. Today we have a new vendor to the channel. This is their first official retail batch of flower that they put out. They are still learning the ropes, but the good thing here is that they are growing the flower themselves. This is not a reseller or anything like that. This is an operation out of Florida and they're doing everything living soil, working their way up. We're gonna be taking our first look at them today. I'm talking about Gulfcoast Organix. Before we get into that though, you already know I gotta give a huge shout out to my patrons over on Patreon. They're keeping the channel going and growing. Remember, my channel is not monetized, so I rely on the support of my viewers in the community. So shout out to my patrons over on Patreon. Shout out to everybody who cops my merch. And shout out to everybody who uses my coupon codes and links to shop. Information on all of that, including a coupon code for what you see in today's video, will be down on my landing page in the video description or on my website, shabazz420.com. All right, so I got a stack of cans. Now you heard that right, a stack of cans of CBD flower. All right, let me just show y'all, all right? I like the labeling, the packaging. It's got the necessary information on everything on there. It's got that nice Florida coastal scene in the background. I appreciate that. But this is actually a tin or aluminum can. And I think it's like nitro sealed or hermetically sealed, and the flower is inside there. And yeah. So we've seen other canned flower in the past, haven't seen any in a while though. They are working on some new strains right now as I record this video. They got some new stuff growing. However, this is pretty much what they dropped for their first retail drop. They have the Shaolin Gleaux, the OG Gelato, the purple Haze, aka sour space candy. And this, they called it lemon cookie dough, but what I really think this is lemon snow CBG, which is a pheno of white CBG. All right, now to get these cans open, all right, there's no pull tab, there's no peely thing, nothing. All right, this almost looks like a World War II ration. All right, when you had to stick the key in and roll it back. Not all of y'all will know what I'm talking about. My history buffs, you will. To open these though, you just need some sort of pry tool. Okay, you need a screwdriver. I have my pocket knife. I always carry a pocket knife, and you just want to get your knife or your screwdriver or whatever and get it under the edge of this can and pops off just like that. It makes that ping like the M1 Garand. It's real nice. All right, and then of course on the inside you have your flower. All right, now a couple things before we start checking out this flower. They only have pre-harvest testing on all of these strains. All right, what does that mean? In case you're unaware, that means they sent in clippings of the plant to a laboratory like a month before harvest and just got pre-harvest testing for regulatory purposes. Now in that last month and last few weeks is when all the cannabinoids really pack in on the plant. So in a pre-harvest test, it might say 3 or 4% cannabinoids, but in reality, this might be 12, 13% CBD. We don't know that though, because they don't have post-harvest testing. Post-harvest testing is what you see, the final potency analysis of cannabis. Also, I want to say this is not a sponsored video. I'm not getting paid or anything like that to check out Gulfcoast flower. All right, you are getting my honest and unbiased opinion. With that being said, we got the Shaolin Gleaux from High Alpine. It's an outdated strain. It's from a few years ago. It smells like Shaolin Gleaux, like Alpenglow and Sprite combined. In 2020, strains like this, like Pink Panther, Shaolin Gleaux, Super Sour Space Candy and stuff, that it was a desirable terpene profile. Now it just smells really like, it smells like raspberry perfume is kind of what this smells like. Or like raspberry sour candy, I guess is what you would call it. Like a fruity raspberry, blueberry, strawberry fruit candy, which sounds good, but it's antiquated. There's no gas to it. There's no dankness or anything like that. And also these older strains, they don't taste very good. All right, and there's the Shaolin Gleaux, okay? And it looks cool, all right? It's got a nice kind of exotic look to it with these thick, orangish, yellowish pistils on it, and this nice dark green and purple coloration of the calyxes and everything. But looks is the best thing that this strain and its siblings have, because it doesn't, you know, they got the real campfire-y taste going on and they don't smell very dank. However, in terms of judging the flower, the quality of the flower, the trim, the dry, the cure, everything seems on point. Okay, This is indoor living soil hemp flower, okay? And the quality looks on par with what I would expect for that, given this genetic, all right? So this is the Shaolin Gleaux, and that's a hybrid. Like I said, it's an older strain. It's not one that I would personally recommend. We have much better genetics than this now, but if you like this strain, they got it. All right, here is their Purple Haze, AKA Sour Space Candy. Now the Purple Haze, they got this from Flow Gardens. This is just a phenotype of Sour Space Candy. It has nothing to do with Type 1 Purple Haze. It's not related at all. It is a total name ripoff, and that's not the fault of Gulfcoast. That's the fault of Flow Gardens. They are the ones who decided to give it that heinous name. This has nothing to do with Type 1. This has nothing to do with Purple Haze. Absolutely nothing. This is Sour Space Candy from Oregon CBD. Yes, the old classic Sour Space Candy. All right. This smells just like a fruity Sour Space Candy. It's like some kind of fruit scented soda. Like, you ever had like a tiki punch or a cactus cooler? It's along those lines, all right? Now, of course, the original straight Sour Space Candy smells like Sprite, all right? Now this, you know, there's a slight deviation from that. It still smells like a soda, but it's just a little bit more fruitier than just a lemon lime Sprite. But that's it. You're not getting no skunk, you're not getting no gas or whatever. With that being said, if you go back to 2019, 2020, everybody had Oregon CBD. Out of all of those old nasty strains like Lifter, Super Haze, Special Sauce, all that, Sour Space Candy was definitely the best one, all right? All right, and here is the Purple Haze, AKA the Sour Space Candy. Now again, just gauging the overall quality of the flower, the nug structure, the dry, the cure, the trim, everything seems on point, okay? This is high quality flower, given the genetic. You know, this is, you know, pretty much the best that a Sour Space Candy or an Oregon CBD strain in general can get. It's got a nice little bit of frost on there, okay? Dense enough nug structure. You got a nice variation of color, a little bit of purples in there, some oranges, the light greens, some yellows. Okay, so it's not bad looking flower by any means. Now, I have not smoked any Sour Space Candy in probably 2 years at least, all right? And I didn't think I was today, but just for the novelty of this video, and just because out of all these, there's not any that is like really, I feel like I really want to smoke right now besides an OG Gelato, I'll give this a couple puffs, all right? A couple puffs, just for old time's sake. Let me break it down. I'll put a high resolution image of it here. All right, here we go. The Purple Haze, AKA Sour Space Candy. Wow. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. You know, it's really interesting tasting that. I haven't tasted that in, like I said, some years now. It doesn't taste great. And like I said, that's not a problem of Gulfcoast, all right? Because this is living soil flower, so this is gonna taste about as good as that will taste. What I get out of the smoke is like a grapefruit, lemon zest type of a flavor. It doesn't taste like straight trash. It's not harsh or anything. It's actually really smooth flower, actually. The cure on that seems to be good. But it's not leaving any sort of gassy or skunky mouth coat or anything like that, like some of these newer flavors will. I will say, however, though, that's pretty well executed. If it's been a while since you had Sour Space Candy, you never had it before, you want to check it out, there you go. You're going to get a nice sativa dominant hybrid experience. Trust me, I've smoked a lot of Sour Space Candy, a lot. From all farms, from all vendors. I've smoked a lot of Sour Space Candy in my days. And yeah, it's pretty much exclusively a sativa dominant hybrid. So that's not bad. It doesn't compare to some of the newer stuff, you know, like some of the Kushes and the Bluesberry and Dark Seeker and, you know, the newer stuff, the Lemon Fade and Grape Tape. It's not on that type of level at all. This just doesn't have the dankness, the OG or the Kush genetics, but it's not bad though. You know, I'll probably smoke a little bit more of this. It's not complete trash, and I don't think you would be super disappointed if you pick this up. All right, up next we have the Wipeout, and this genetic is from Hoku seeds. You might have smoked some of this summer. Kaendar grew it. This one has a little bit more of a muted smell compared to other Wipeout that I've had. Wipeout is typically a very musky, earthy, fruity smelling strain. This Wipeout is very musky and very earthy, light on the fruit. All right, and there was the Wipeout. And again, just the overall quality of the flower is good. The trim, the dry, the cure. The moisture level on all these seem pretty good. It's got a nice layer of frost, some darker colors. Very well executed flower. You got a nice caking of trichomes all throughout that, okay? Not bad at all. And of course, that's what you get when you do living soil. Your flower just looks exotic, it brings the best out of it. Now I have spent some time with this strain, okay? I probably smoked about a half zip over the summer. And on its own, Wipeout is not anything I go crazy over. It's got really foggy effects, can sometimes lean sativa hybrid, can sometimes lean indica dominant, but it's a hybrid strain. Real head foggy effects, but just the flavor and the smell. I really think that this would do well cross to something else more gassy. All right, I really think this would impart some real nice fruitiness onto something that's real gassy and really come together and make something nice. On its own, I'm not the biggest fan of it. However, it's not super bad. All right, if you like a more musky, earthy strain with a little bit of fruit, you want some heavier hybrid effects, Wipeout's not a bad choice. All right, up next is their lemon cookie dough CBG. Now, the name is misleading. I'm not sure what happened with the name. I've seen different stories. I've seen Gulfcoast say that they regret putting that name and in the future they're not going to use that. I'm not sure. All I know is that obviously there is a pretty well-known strain, lemon cookie dough from High Alpine. This has nothing to do with that. And that's actually a type 3. This is a type 4. This is a straight CBG dominant strain. And I said this, I believe this is just a pheno of the white CBG from Oregon CBD. Old strain. Let's crack this open. Now, what's interesting is we haven't seen any like good indoor CBG in a while, all right? It smells like an indoor CBG. It smells like indoor CBG. It smells like citrus and CBG. And what does CBG smell like? If you don't know, CBG does not produce very many terpenes or sulfurs or aldehydes or alcohols or anything like that. All right, what does that mean? It doesn't really have much of a smell. It just smells like dried plant matter. That's not to say it smells like straight hay or anything, but it just smells like dried plants, like potpourri almost. This smells like that, but it's got a nice citrus to it. All right, like you know, some mandarin and lemon juice spritzed on top of it. Now, one thing that CBG is, if not loud or dank or good tasting, is very visually appealing, okay? The trichomes on CBG dominant strains are all milky white. They are large, like type 1 trichome, so CBG flower like this always looks extremely frosty and extremely exotic, all right? When you get it though is when you're like, oh man, like this don't really smell or taste like anything. And then CBG has very little psychotropic effects. CBG is very much for inflammation and pain management. It leaves you without really much of a buzz, very clear-headed. Some people even say they feel uplifted. Now, normally I wouldn't smoke any CBG, but just because it's been a while, you know, over a year since we've had any sort of new good indoor CBG, I'll take a couple hits just for the people out there who use this medicinally, because like I said, it is important from a medicinal factor. Let's just rip down a bowl. Very smooth. Very smooth. That's the second strain I've had from Gulfcoast, and I have to say it's buttery smooth. There's no harshness, there's no throat burn, there's no bite to it at all. Liquid smooth. Yeah. Super smooth. That's like vapor. Super smooth. Very light on the taste. And that's CBG flower, so it doesn't really have any flavor, but it doesn't taste bad either. It doesn't have any negative flavor. It's super, like, you could barely taste that you smoked anything at all, put it like that. So actually, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. If I, you know, I get migraines and stuff like that, vision problems, I'll definitely be reaching for this. That's not a bad smoke at all. It's very smooth. If this had any sort of flavor, it would actually be a really good smoke just because of how super smooth it is. It's air smooth. All right. So surprisingly and oddly enough, besides the name, I'm gonna give this CBG from Gulfcoast the Shabazz seal of approval. It's actually been a long time since we've had some decent smokable, usable CBG flower, and it's not super popular, but there are those that people that definitely use it and buy it. Yeah, this one's very usable and not bad. Last but not least, definitely not least, because I think this is probably the best thing that Gulfcoast has. This is the OG Gelato. All right. Now this is an original cross from Flow Gardens. This is a cross of orange glaze and gelato, the type 1 strain. All right, now I've had this once before, and this is actually like my favorite strain I've ever had from Flow Gardens. All right, it's got that, what I know it to have is that tropical fruit scent with a little bit of dankness. All right, it's definitely not as gassy or as loud as like regular type 1 gelato, but it's definitely a little bit different than your normal hemp. Let's crack this open. Okay, very fruity first off. It's got a little bit of gas to it. It's not super gassy, it's not super loud. I wouldn't describe this as dank. It's got a little bit of a sour gas in the background, but it's real fruity, real airy, real bright. It's like a Jamba Juice smoothie, like peach, strawberry, kiwi, lemon. Almost got a watermelon scent to it. Just imagine gelato, but minus like the dankness, all right? All right, so here's the OG gelato. And just as far as looks, this actually isn't the best looking flower of the day, all right? I definitely think that CBG takes that title. However, again, just the overall quality of the nug, the dry, trim, cure, nug structure. It's dense, it's got a good moisture content to it, a real nice tight trim, and again seems to be cured well. It's got a good amount of frost on there. All right, you know, this is indoor living soil flower, so I honestly would not expect anything less. All right, now there is something about OG gelato. All right, there's a reason why you don't just see me smoking it all day and everything, because this is a cross of a T1 and a T3. Oftentimes phenos of this plant come out type 2, right? Meaning that it has large chunks of THC and CBD, not just straight CBD dominant like type 3 hemp flower. Now, the pheno that I tried from Flow Gardens seemed to be a pretty stable type 2.5, all right? That means that it's a little too spicy to be a regular type 3, but it's not spicy enough to really be called a type 2. It's still very CBD dominant, it just has more THC than your regular type 3. And I think from Flow Gardens, it had like 1.6% THC or something like that, 14% CBD, something like that, all right? And my cutoff for type 3 is 1%, and that's completely fine. All the OG gelato I have from Flow Gardens, I smoked it all. Was the buzz a little bit more intense sometimes? Yeah, but it was manageable, it was a good time. The problem with this from Gulfcoast is that they don't have any post-harvest COAs. So we don't know how much THC is in this, all right? We just know that it most likely has more than your average CBD flower. Does this have 1% total THC? Is it 1.5? Does this have 4% THC? We don't know. There's no way to know because Gulfcoast doesn't have post-harvest tests, and they are aware of the issue. They have spoken about it on Discord, which, by the way, make sure you go join the Discord server. There is a new one. Discord deleted the old one. You need to join the new one. But Gulfcoast has acknowledged the post-harvest COA problem before. I'm not totally sure what's going on with that, but I will smoke a little bit of this, a little bit, just because there's a chance it's not way too crazy, and if not, then it's definitely one I recommend. So I'll take some little baby hits because I'm not trying to have a panic attack. All right, so let me get this broken down. I'll leave a high resolution image of it here. All right, here is the OG gelato. Hopefully I don't regret this. Very smooth, like all the rest. Real smooth. On the smoke there, I actually get a very slight gassy aftertaste. It's not super crazy. Don't have no OG mouth coat or anything like that. But there's a little bit of a gassy mouth coat aftertaste. It's more prominent than it is on the smell. All right, and I also have it in the Crafty Plus, all right, the dry herb vaporizer. If you don't know anything about dry herb vapes, you're interested in them, the Crafty Plus is the best portable electronic dry herb vape there is. I have a link down in my video description on my website if you're interested in one of those. Let's check out the OG Gelato, see what type of taste we get out of the vape. Really light vapor, very light vapor production. I don't want to hit it too many times. I had to hit it again though, just to get more vapor, to get more flavor. It's not a very heavy vapor producer. The flavor I get on that vaporizer is like, it tastes exactly like if you like got an orange from an orange tree and like just cut a slice, a wedge off of it and just ate it. You get that little taste of the rind in the back end, that fresh orange juice. It's not too sweet, but it's got that unmistakable citrus orange flavor to it. That's really how that tastes on the vaporizer, all right? So like I say, if there's a strain you really like, you gotta try it in both the vaporizer and you gotta try it smoking it, because you're gonna get two different flavors, and you won't get, like, you'll never get the flavor you get vaping it from smoke, and you'll never get the flavor you get from smoking it in the vapor. The smoke, you get a lot more of the VSCs, a lot less of the terpenes. In the vaporizer, you get a lot more terpenes and a lot less VSCs, all right? So smoking flower, it's more dank, more skunky. You get the more earthy tastes, the chocolates, all those esters. In the vaporizer, you get all of the bright, fruity terps, the limonene, terpenoline, myrcene, all of those, you taste them really strongly in the vaporizer. I'll give y'all kind of a live reaction to this OG Gelato. I feel it coming on. Right now, I really feel it up in the head. I really feel it in the eye area. I feel a little bit of like a lightheaded spinniness kind of thing going on. Getting a little bit of warmth, but just so far the initial effects is just all up in the head pretty much. All right, I actually sat here and scrolled on TikTok for about 5 minutes. I wanted to let the effects fully kick in, all right? If I had to ballpark based on my extensive experience, I might add, I would probably put this at around just as far as the effects feel, all right? Now, a lot goes into the potency and perceivable effects of flower, not just the percentages on the paper, okay? But I think we can all guesstimate the strength of effects based on those numbers. And so based on, you know, I'm gonna reverse that. Based on my effects, the number I would put on this is probably about 1%. It's probably in that 10 to 12% range for CBD and right at about 1% total THC. Just as that's the strength of effects. I'll call this like a 10 to 1, all right? Not quite a 2.5, definitely not a type 2. It's just got nice strong effects, and the effects, they're not making me lazy or sleepy or anything like that. They're kind of all from like the chest up. A lot going on in the head. This is definitely a sativa dominant hybrid, all right? This is definitely something I would smoke in the daytime. When you got something to do, you're not trying to go to sleep, you want something a little bit heavier during the daytime, you're gonna be around people you don't generally like, you're gonna go out to eat, whatever the case may be, you're at work, this is gonna be one of those flavors, all right? So the OG Gelato, good effects, smooth like all the rest, all right? Has an interesting flavor in the vaporizer and everything. I'm gonna give this the Shabazz seal of approval. It's Living Soil Indoor OG Gelato. It's a strain a lot of people like from Flow Gardens, but the price is a little bit better. All right, so my final verdict on Gulfcoast Organix. I see that Gulfcoast has a lot of things going for them. All right, basically it seems like right now, what's moving against them is their genetics. And again, they've spoken on Discord and stuff. They are aware of that. They're trying to get better genetics. All right. I think if they had some Zoe therapeutic strains going on, some of the more better Hoku and high alpine stuff going on, we definitely might have seen, you know, a little bit better as far as loudness and smell and everything. This is indoor living soil flower, all right? So you can't go wrong. That means it's completely organic. There's no synthetic nutrients, pesticides, or anything like that, all right? All of this stuff is super, super smooth. it's just super smooth. All right, you got the good CBG, you got that good potent sativa dom OG gelato, you even got the sour space candy if that's what you like. All right, so I think Gulf Coast, they are definitely moving in the right direction. As y'all know, I've checked out a lot of companies here on this channel, and a lot of them, for their first drop or batch or their introduction of themselves to the community and industry, is not very good. And I think Gulf Coast, they didn't do bad. So we'll definitely be checking them out in the future. If you have tried this flower already, which many of you have, let me know what you think about it down in the comments. Don't forget that I do have a coupon code down on my landing page in the video description. Make sure you use that if you want to check anything out. All right, make sure you check out my Patreon, check out my merch. All right, if you want to support the channel, hit like if you like the video, hit me up down in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you can see when I upload new content. I appreciate each and every one of y'all so much, and I sincerely hope you have an amazing rest of your day or night. I'm gonna catch you on the next video. Peace.